Good evening, everybody. Namaskar. It's a pleasure to see many faces known, and it's a pleasure to see so many people present here for this particular dialogue. When Gaurav told me to speak on military diplomacy, I readily agreed. And just when I was walking in, he said, "We were not expecting you." So I told him that I was in Nepal practicing military diplomacy, and it's just that late afternoon I landed and I said, let's go and fulfill the obligation that I have taken to come and talk to you all. Military diplomacy is at times it's an oxymoron, at times it's a term which is misunderstood, and at times it is taken as something which is in thin air. The simplest definition of military diplomacy is utilizing your military establishment as a country to further the statecraft, to further what the nation is trying in the diplomatic field as part of the diplomatic initiatives. That is all. It's very simple. On ground, when you translate it, what it implies is that you have a resource available in the country in terms of the military establishment. You've got a resource which is trained not only for war, but for many things. You've got a resource available which is well versed in statecraft, strategy, understanding the world, and you have got a resource which is totally disciplined. And when this gets combined with your diplomatic force, it can yield very good results. And there are many examples. See, we need to actually differentiate because at times when people talk of military diplomacy, they think the military will go out there. No. It is military representatives who work with the diplomatic corps. And somehow, as a country, especially, I'll say, the foundation of the country came up at a time where the leadership of that time distrusted the military. There was a great amount of distrust. And that led to ensuring that less of the military was seen as part of the diplomatic initiatives, as part of being seen in the diplomatic establishment. Mainly they were seen as, taking care of ceremonies, ceremonial thing, but not taking part in what actually was the statecraft which the diplomats wanted to practice or the nation wanted to practice in that country. And I think this persisted for quite some time. It is only much later that a realization has dawned. Here is a resource which you can use. And let me also say, irrespective of a country, it is military to military, the relations can actually make a significant difference. Like I said, I was in Nepal, not on a visit. I was in Nepal because all the chiefs of Indian Army are honorary generals of Nepal Army and vice versa. And we hold a conclave every year or alternate year in each other's country. We sit down and discuss things. We sit down and talk absolutely openly, because we know that what we will say is not going to go out anywhere, and what they will say will remain with us. That is the kind of trust the militaries have between each other, and that helps. You can discuss anything about the country with them, issues which are bogging down the relations, issues which need to be resolved, issues which require the military professionals to go and smoothen the narratives that are prevailing. And it helps. And it is true, not just Nepal, it is true with all countries. You put two people in uniform from any country together, and you will find tremendous amount of bonhomie. And I'll say this bonhomie is even in countries which you think may be thinking differently than you. Let's take North Korea. You can put the military people with our military people. It just takes 15 minutes to break the ice. And probably after 15 minutes, they may not open up as freely, but they will certainly open up. Now, that is the strength which allows you to practice military diplomacy in positioning people in your diplomatic establishment in various countries, so that they can give you inputs, they can make the relationship better, they can pass on the word that you may not trust the diplomat, but at least in uniform we trust each other, and this is the actual fact. And you can do a great amount of work. Let me give you another example. I had gone to Myanmar quite some time back while still in service, and one had to go to Naypyidaw, their capital, from Yangon. I told our defense attaché, are we going to go by road? He said, no, sir, I spoke to them and they'll give you an aircraft. So I told the ambassador, thank you. He said, sir, don't thank me because I'm traveling by road. Now, do you get it? He was traveling by road, they didn't give him aircraft. But military to military, the relation was such that once the defense attaché had spoken to them, they said, we will give aircraft. Now, this is the kind of relationship which gets you results in many, many situations. This is the type of relationship that solidifies your ventures that your diplomatic initiatives want to start. So it is not only gaining knowledge about and carrying out liaison on military matters, on the type of research and equipment that prevails out there, on the type of new technologies that are being worked on, and how we can cooperate with them. How can we get a better deal? How can we ensure that military we can ensure a better relationship which will ultimately result in better relationship between the two countries, whether it is calling people for military education in the various training establishments that exist in both the countries, ensuring that you have joint training which also breaks the ice and ensures that you start understanding each other. You understand the procedures and the protocols and the type of equipment each country uses. And in all this, you try to attain the diplomatic objective that has been laid down. That is what military diplomacy is all about. Like I said, Nehruvian India, there was a great amount of distrust where the military was concerned, and probably that is why in 1962 we suffered greatly. Later on, the realization came where the military diplomacy is also concerned. But I would say that it is only after about 2012 that things actually started moving. Slowly we started looking at places where we could additional people in the various missions so that they could work. And you can look at the slow speed. Last 10 years, we have just added 10 more people in 10 different missions. And we have taken sanction for another 10 to go in coming years. While there are countries probably much smaller than us, with smaller militaries, who have got a much larger footprint in their diplomatic missions. And they do a great deal. Great amount of work they do. So, military diplomacy is a field which needs great amount of activity so that you can further your diplomatic initiatives. We, I think, have somehow not realized the importance. Slowly the realization is coming, and I hope that instead of this 10 more, we are able to put more number of people so that we can have people all over in our missions who can help. And it's my personal conviction that our officers who are selected, and mind you, the armed forces are very good at selection. They actually select the best that is available for that particular task. So anybody who's selected will actually go and deliver, will actually go and add value to that mission, and will actually go and ensure that the mission not only succeeds in what it is trying to do in that country, but it excels in what it is trying to do in that country. That is the importance of military diplomacy. We have this issue that I think now, which I told you is going away, where that question mark used to prevail. I think there is issue of parities. There is the issue of how do you amalgamate the military officer, and in the diplomatic hierarchy, how does this officer fit in, plus his staff fit in. But wherever they fit in whatever manner people have devised it, mostly it is at a lower slot than what that officer deserves. The results have been very good. And you take any country, you take Russia, we have a strong team out there of armed forces, and with our dependency on their equipment, they give you the feedback. They are the ones who negotiate. They are the ones who look for new technologies which can come in, and with the initiative of Make in India, they are the ones who play a very, very important part. Same is with the US, same is with UK, same is with France, you name it. And then you look at what we require to do in Africa. It's a huge continent. Do we have enough people out there? It's a continent of resources. And if you have not put people out there, then you cannot take care of the type of resources that exist in that country. And therefore, I think it is important when you put your mission, you amalgamate a military representative in it who can take care of many requirements of that mission. And there are always many requirements in a mission. It is not just military. He can actually give much greater inputs to the mission head on what he is getting as a feedback, which makes the mission head's task easier. So, all in all, I would say that military diplomacy is one field which needs, I think, support of all of us here, not just the military, and support in terms of ensuring that we do good for the country. It has got nothing to do with trying to position uniformed personnel in a mission, but it has got everything to do with what best we can achieve in that mission by putting a representative from the military who, like I said, understands statecraft, understands strategy, understands what can be done in the world affairs and where exactly we are. We are lucky you have a dialogue where we are talking to all very intelligent people who are sitting here. I'm sure you all will take this forward because the need of the world today is how your missions carry out the diplomacy which makes the nation better in the way it wants a footprint in the rest of the world. And for that, I think we need to look at military diplomacy very, very seriously. There are many more things that one can talk of, but I'll certainly say that we need to avoid the other things that we look at where gunboat diplomacy is concerned and where the military interventions are concerned, or where we have carried out various missions in terms of rescues and other things where military at times gets involved or military personnel at times. It's got nothing to do with diplomacy. Those are specifics based on specific tasking that is done. I mean, if the Navy is able to rescue hostages or if the Navy is able to check piracy, it is part of a nation's desire to do things where the armed forces are committed. But it is not part of the military diplomacy as such. Military diplomacy would be where the relations were bad and you put somebody who was able to ensure that military to military the relations started becoming good, and there the military was strong enough to ensure that that country then started looking at our country in a different manner altogether. The dependence of both for various things increased. That would be the test for diplomacy. So I would stop here, and if anybody has any questions, let's say a couple of questions I'll take, and that should, I suppose, finish this particular session. Anybody who wants to ask? Yeah. Don't look back. Look this side. Ask me on military diplomacy. Since you mentioned 2010, I don't know what you want to ask me.
Right, sir. Sir, you spoke about that we need to increase the number of military persons in military diplomacy. But at the current juncture, sir, even the diplomats, the number of strength of diplomats compared to Americans, Russians, and Chinese, they are also very less. So how can we resolve
That
this
is,
issue?
that is why the intake for IFS has increased, because we have got less number of people. And if I can put a corollary to it, utilize armed forces. Where is the harm?
Correct.
That person is very well versed, and whenever we have 5 years I was with MEA, and wherever we have used the armed forces people as part of the MEA, we have found them to be pretty good.
Okay, sir.
Anybody else? Okay.
Namaste, sir. Jai Hind. Sir, at the present state where Bangladesh is going through a lot of turmoil and creating instability around in and around India, so is India dealing with Bangladesh, where Bangladesh is throwing up with an attitude of catching up with the Pakistani military and trying to pep up its military and trying to give any indication? Is it a condition where I see a lot of influx of Bangladeshis coming to India and going up and down, since I'm also traveling around? So at this juncture, where I see a lot of things have gone quite calmer, so did it happen due to the military intervention or military diplomacy with Bangladesh and India, or did it happen with both military diplomacy and foreign diplomacy?
Military intervention only took place in 71.
Thank you, sir.
There is no military intervention now, right? The situation is bad, and I think we should not have any qualms in saying that we did get surprised. I mean, if somebody whom you have supported as a leader and her party, and you did not read the situation, you did not read what was happening, you did not read what the establishment was doing, then I think you have been caught napping. Military has its own part, and I think military to military relationships are still good. They are still good. But then the things have got so complicated that just military is not going to solve the issue. It is a much more complex situation. There are many players. There is if I can say, undercurrent where a lot of people who did not take part in the freedom struggle, and mind this, underline it for yourself, who did not take part in the freedom struggle or the liberation of and formation of Bangladesh, I think they've had a role to play or a grouse to create a situation which ultimately resulted in what has happened. So I'll not go into more of this, because this itself is a separate subject altogether. No, he's bringing the mic to you.
Jain sir, first of all. Sir, I have a very simple question to you, that India is now going towards becoming the Blue Ocean Navy very soon. And as you have rightly said, that military diplomacy is very important for us to improvise our strength and fostering the strength in between our borders. So I just want to ask, what will be the strategy as a part of this government and as a part of this public? What do you think that how we can strengthen our diplomatic policies towards this Blue Ocean Navy expansion?
You are asking a question like ChatGPT. Okay.
Sir.
Now, all that I would say is that importance of military diplomacy is being understood. And that is why I told you that the footprint of the military professionals in various diplomatic establishments is increasing. But there is a scope for ensuring that there is more. It will depend on the type of financial resources, etc., etc. And it is this contributory synergy that comes in with the military professionals being posted out there to work in ensuring that whatever you want to progress, there in the dimension that you choose, the military professional can work. And I think at least this is the ideal is we increase it more.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
सर मेरे दो क्वेश्चन है. पहला क्वेश्चन ये है कि मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि ज़्यादातर देखा गया कि डेमोक्रेसीज में जो मिलिट्री के जो पर्सोनल्स हैं उनको डिप्लोमेसी में यूज़ नहीं किया जाता. क्या डेमोक्रेसीज में क्या ये हेजिटेशन होता है कि क्या मिलिट्री टेक ओवर हो सकता है, जैसे कि पाकिस्तान में देखा जाए या फिर बांग्लादेश में जैसा अभी हुआ है, या फिर जो म्यांमार में जनता गवर्नमेंट है? ये मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन है. और दूसरा क्वेश्चन है, जैसा कि आप अभी ऑनरेबल गवर्नर ऑफ मिजोरम है, तो मुझे ये जानना है कि अभी मणिपुर के क्या हालात हैं और उसके लॉन्ग टर्म सॉल्यूशन क्या हो सकते हैं.
अभी आप डाइवर्ट हो रहे हो जरा. देखिए, पहली चीज़ तो ये है जो आपने डेमोक्रेसीज के बारे में बोला. अमेरिका डेमोक्रेसी है कि नहीं है?
हाँ, ओल्डेस्ट
है
डेमोक्रेसी दे क्लेम.
उनके कितने लोग कहाँ पर हर एक देश के अंदर होंगे? जितने उनके मिशन है उसके अंदर आपको पक्का आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के लोग मिलेंगे. तो ये जो आप एक थ्योरी प्रोपाउंड कर रहे हैं कि जी वो कहीं टेक ओवर कर लेंगे, वो किसको टेक ओवर करेंगे? टेक ओवर का मामला नहीं है. देश के तौर पर आप अगर सोचते हो कि आपको आगे बढ़ना है तो देश के पास जितने भी साधन हैं, जिसमें मिलिट्री भी है, डिप्लोमेसी भी है, इकोनॉमिक्स भी है, जो कुछ भी आप इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो वो आपको इस्तेमाल करना पड़ेगा. एक समय था जब हमारे मिशंस के अंदर इकोनॉमी के ऊपर लोग बाग नहीं होते थे. 2010 के बाद ये ज़रूरत महसूस हुई कि हमारे कुछ ऐसे लोगों को भी वहाँ पर होना चाहिए जो इकोनॉमी को समझते हैं, ट्रेड को समझते हैं, कॉमर्स को समझते हैं, और उनको वहाँ पर भेजा गया. तो ये देश के ऊपर निर्भर करता है इसमें. और देश अगर उसको अपने ऊपर आत्मविश्वास है तो किसी से डरता नहीं है. लास्ट क्वेश्चन प्लीज.
Hello, Jai Hind sir.
हाँ जी.
Sir, it has been seen that for quite some time this Nepal border, open Nepal border has been misutilized. So, इसमें can't we have some better solution? Should we close that border or partially something?
देखिए, नेपाल our relationship is of a roti and beti.
Yes, I know that.
अब आप उसको बंद कर देंगे तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी ना.
Sir, then what can
ना
be
ना
done?
रोटी जाएगी, ना बेटी आएगी या बेटी जाएगी. So see, each nation your relationship is different. There is a freedom of movement in nations which between the two nations, and there is methodology adopted. अगर तारबंदी भी हो जाए, क्या रिलेशन सब अच्छे हो जाएंगे क्या?
No, but infiltration
अभी
from Nepal border.
आपकी पूरे बॉर्डर के ऊपर फेंसिंग है इन ऑन द वेस्टर्न बॉर्डर.
Yes. No, what I mean.
Do all things become better?
No.
Yes, the only thing that has happened is earlier the caravans of camels or caravans of vehicles could come in. That is stopped, but now people can still come in. Go back to East Germany, West Germany, you had the type of fencing and the border that was fortified. Did it stop people from going from one part to another? So fences don't stop people. It is what relationship you have with that country, that is what helps.
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you.
एक क्वेश्चन